Welcome, beautiful being. I love to express myself through food. I find that preparing food and eating is just such a sacred act, and so I just compiled a few of my favorite things that I've made lately. Perfect. We are starting with something that I was craving so hardcore, and that is just a burger and fries. And I actually homemade this bun from my sourdough starter. It was okay, but it wasn't great. And then I just like to pile up all of my fixins. Of course, this is a meatless burger that I'm going to be using, topped with vegan cheese. I think it's a Beyond Burger. But I went ahead and put those with some waffle fries, which I did not make from scratch, obviously, but it was such a good burger. It was amazing. Okay, this one was killer. It was an orange tofu. You can see I served it with some vegetables and rice. Unfortunately, I didn't film the actual preparation of it, but that's because it was sort of an experiment. But I will be doing that in the future because this was made from scratch and it was so good. The sauce was incredible. Okay, so pizza night is my favorite night. I love pizza. And this is actually a very simple recipe. You can see I just made the dough from scratch. This is kind of my everything dough. I kind of transform it into a bunch of different things. It's the same base, but it works really perfectly. Those are some fresh herbs from my garden. I believe oregano and basil, but this really made the pizza because the herbs were so fresh. And then of course, just some nice juicy tomatoes. I wish those were from my garden, but no, those were bought. And then I have some olive oil. I just went ahead and prepped up by like dicing the tomatoes into little segments, little dices, whatever. And then the herbs I gave a nice little rough chop to. So this is how I spread my dough. I put it in my cast iron and I just kind of inch it out with my fingertips. And then I top it with some olive oil and red pepper, that's vegan cheese. You know, just season it up really nice. And then I throw the tomatoes on there as well. I think I also put some Italian seasoning and some nutritional yeast. So that's all the toppings going on there. And then when it comes out, I top it with the fresh herbs. Like I said, this is just so simple, so satisfying. I love pizza. You can't go wrong. Okay, so this is not the most exciting thing, but this is something I have every day without fail. And so I do feel like it's important to include it sometimes. It varies a little bit, but for the most part, it's the same base, which I start with a fresh orange, a fresh apple, and with some spinach as well. And that's my basis always for every smoothie. For the liquid, I like to use mostly that coconut water, but I do add in like a splash of non-dairy milk. Plus that was some green powder, and then I do put in some seeds because I'm currently doing seed cycling, which I like so far. Then I just put in some frozen fruit of my choosing, some acai. Yeah, and this was a bigger smoothie because I did split this one with my husband. But it is so good. It's so filling. I break my fast with a smoothie every single day, and I just love the way that it makes me feel. And it does fill me up, at least the way that I make it. Okay, this one might win for my favorite thing that I made this go around, because there is something about when you home make the chips, it just takes it to another level, this whole chips and guac experience. So of course I'm starting by making my guacamole, and I always make it a bit different, but there's certain things that I always have to have in there. right there I'm putting in some fresh lime juice. I always have to have some sort of acid just to help break it down and make it smooth. And then I add in some Himalayan pink salt and fresh cracked pepper. And that's really the basis for getting it going. And I like mine mashed. Like, I do not like chunky guacamole. I like it as mashed as it can possibly be. And then I'm just chopping up some white onions to go in there. And onions are a must in guacamole for me. I don't know how people do it without it. And then some fresh garlic, of course. Here we're moving on to the chips, and those are just some tortillas, corn tortillas that I cut up into little quads, little chip shapes. And that is some lime juice just to coat. So I go ahead and toss it in the lime juice and a little splash of this olive oil just because I am putting it in the air fryer, and so I think that that just makes it have a little bit better taste. And I just wanted to show this. This is actually my cleaning solution that I make, my countertop spray. And I make it using vinegar, that's white vinegar in there. And then I just add whatever citrus carcasses are left over, what I don't use. And that just infuses for about a month. And then it becomes my countertop spray. So it's a great way to use something you would throw away. And then this is another thing that I just have started doing. I chop very finely the little slivers of white onion, and then I go ahead and put it in a mason jar. Then I take all of the leftover pickling juice that I have. So here I had some leftover from jalapenos, and just go ahead and dump the rest of that in there. And then this is from some sweet and spicy pickles, and the combination was so good. I let that infuse for a couple of days, and it's one of my favorite condiments now. I pretty much eat it on everything. And here's the finished product. This was so amazing. I actually could not finish all of it. I guess that goes to show, like, when you make something yourself, it's a little bit more satisfying, because those chips, I definitely couldn't eat all of them, and that's not always the case when it's like a bag that you buy. But this guacamole was perfect. This was a perfect snack. Okay, now for my favorite lunch that I can have, a soup and a sandwich. Perfect combo. This summer has been like the summer of sandwiches for me. I feel like the key to a really good sandwich is the construction. I don't like things falling out when I'm trying to eat it, so I like to prep everything and then I just go into constructing it. And so I started with some veganaise and some mustard, some Dijon mustard on one side. Then I like to put my avocado, and also I season every single thing. So I put pepper and salt on all of the individual condiments. And then that's some tofurkey that I just laid over there, some spinach, onion, and then some sauerkraut to top it off with. And I thought I was done, but then I remembered I wanted to put a slice of vegan cheese on there. So I did that before I cut it. And that was the finished product. Oh, such a good sandwich, so decadent. And I just paired it with a pickle and some veggie soup. And that is also some green sun tea to go along with it. Oh my God, what a perfect lunch. That is the end. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are living well and appreciating what you have. I'm sending you all the love, light, and gratitude, and be well until next time.